Ayanna here. As you know, we are coming to you from the Meeting Lounge for the next few episodes. Today, we are talking to women who are in business for themselves, or to women who want to go into business for themselves. I have here with me Duquesa Dean, an amazing woman. If you read this woman's bio, you would think that she was superwoman. One of the things I want to get into before we even start is just to say hi and have her introduce herself for just a bit.
So hello everyone. I am so happy to be here with you to talk about how one would begin the process of going into business for themselves, or how to sustain themselves as they go on to entrepreneurship throughout the course of their lives. I am Duquesa Dean, and I'm a associate trainer with the International Board of Certified Trainers, which is based in the Netherlands. I'm also a certified trainer with the John Maxwell team. I'm a corporate trainer as well, specializing in customer service, process improvement, leadership, goal setting. I work with young people by way of my youth organization called Transition Mentorship Program, and that work is very special to me because I understand the transitions that occur from young childhood through adulthood, and that those transitions are not always smooth for young people. Okay. And so that work is extremely important to me. I also work with women who have had some sort of trauma during the course of their lives, whether that is molestation, abuse, domestic abuse, someone who doesn't fit in. And we work with them as well, helping them to come from the darkness into the light. Because what our work has uncovered is that there are so many women who are fighting depression and suicidal thoughts. And so that's important for us. And then another aspect of what I do is working with cancer survivors by way of the Jenny Dean Caring and Sharing Cancer Support Group. And so we give cancer survivors an atmosphere of inclusion. So we have our support meetings and we have events that they can participate in and feel comfortable being among people who have gone through the exact same struggle.
See what I said? Superwoman. Oh my goodness. It's amazing that you do all of that. I don't know if I was really clear as to what our topic was for the past few episodes, but we've been talking about saying yes to me.
Yes.
We've dealt with dealing with loss. We've dealt with looking at women in terms of the ones who may not get on a stage, the ones who may not take a microphone in their hand, but I know that they have stories, and you seem to have an amazing background. I know this is going to be great. One of the things that hit me when I read your bio was the very first line, from a very young age. That amazed me because sometimes it takes so long for a woman to find herself. And then to find herself not only working for people, but have the confidence to go out there and start her own thing. You knew from a very young age that you wanted to be a world changer, though.
Yes, I did.
How did that come about?
Well, I always had dreams. From I was very young, I would have dreams about the things that I would do in the world. And, being a young child, I looked at them as dreams and nothing more. But I knew within myself that there was a greater purpose for my life than just playing marbles or jumping jacks or skip rope. Yes. And so, at night, I used to sneak outside when my house was still. And at 8 years of age, I used to sneak outside and sit on our back porch and look at the stars and gaze at the stars and think about what it meant to really be a star, to be above the world, glancing down in the stillness when everyone is asleep. And that inspired me to want to make a difference in the world. In true transparency, though, I'll tell you that along the course of my life, coming out of my teenage years and into my early 20s, where I was involved in a very domestically, ridiculously abusive marriage. Coming out of that, I was not in a good place. And along the way from 13 to about 30, I lost my way and I forgot about my dreams. And it wasn't until I hit rock bottom and I sat on my bathroom floor with a bottle of tablets in one hand and a gallon of juice in another, contemplating tapping out at life. And it just so happened that in that moment I was sitting on my bathroom floor that I glanced up at the light fixture. And I don't know if you know, like watching movies when the rays are coming down out of the clouds. Well, the rays were just coming down out of my bathroom fixture. Yes. And it was a reminder to me that God had a purpose for my life. Yes. And so with that reminder that, everything that you've gone through is destined for something. It's to be used for something. Yes. And it was also the reminder that God loves me and that he was with me in that exact moment. Gave me the courage to get off my bathroom floor, to get help, to work through a lot of that trauma and the damaging circumstances that I'd gone through in my life to get me to wholeness where I can again chase my dreams. And it wasn't until I started to get clear that I remembered some of those dreams and began acting on them.
Wow, that's an amazing testimony. It is, because there are so many women out there who are hurting, but because they feel, I guess, as though it's only happening to them,
Yes.
they don't know exactly how to go out there and get help for themselves. I know of persons who did hit rock bottom, like you said, and some of them have not caught themselves yet. But I believe it's because women like you need a platform,
Yes.
so that you can tell them, you know what, if I did it, so can you.
Yes.
Do you find yourself mentoring persons in that way a lot of times? Do you find yourself gaining, I guess, the attention of persons who are at the lower level of the spectrum in terms of starting over, or are these just women who just want a little brush up now and again?
Well, it's actually a mix. It's actually a mix of women that we mentor, by way of the Power of Her, which is an annual women's empowerment conference that I'm the director of.
Okay.
We get to meet a lot of women who are at different stages. Some of them are at rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are just stalled. Some of them are pursuing their dreams, but they're not certain of what the next step is to take.
Okay.
And so that mentorship, it's not solicited. It's something that I guess people watch and see the way that I work with some other women. We interact with other people, and they come and they ask for assistance. Okay. In my situation, though, I can tell you, and why I believe that it was ordained by God, was that I didn't seek a mentor. I did not seek help. When I got up off of my bathroom floor, the very next day I went to work. And while I was at work, this business associate approached me, mm-hmm. and he was like, "You have so much potential. You have such a strong work ethic, and you come here, you get it done, but you sitting on so much of your potential. Mm-hmm. I want to mentor you." And I'm going to be very honest with you. When he offered that mentorship, I was like, boy, this is just another dude trying to get my precious stuff.
Yes.
And I almost told him no.
Okay.
I almost told him no. And I was like, you know what? You on rock bottom, how much worse could it get? Okay. And I said yes. And that was the best yes of my life.
Wow.
So help actually came to me. Mm-hmm. And there is this saying that when the student is ready, the mentor bears. And I believe that is what happens with a lot of the women that we encounter, because we appear in environments where they are. Yeah. And then they come to us.
Do you find it difficult to get women to open up to you? I mean, considering that you are now out, you present a very beautiful picture.
Thank you.
And so do you find it difficult for women to open up and to just start pouring out exactly what they're going through?
No, absolutely not. And I think a part of the reason why I don't have that challenge is because I'm very vulnerable when I share. Okay. And so I share my mistakes. I share my challenges. Okay. I share when I fell down. I'm open with it so people can see that, you know what, I've been there, and I would understand that, you know what, I fell, and here's how to help you get back up. Okay. So, when I do my videos or my Facebook platforms, I don't know, my social media platforms, I don't know if you follow them, I do my very best to be authentic so that people can see that there's realness here, and that there have been real circumstances that took me to brokenness, and that the success in coming over and what those steps were. So usually when people talk, it's a bit overwhelming for me, because in one session they try to give everything.
Everything one time.
And, it's a lifetime.
Yes.
Right. So sometimes I'm a little overwhelmed by the amount of information I get. Mm-hmm. And then by my very nature, I'm solution driven. And so I'm results driven. And, and as people are sharing with me, I begin to think about, how do I help this person? And so I take it on. So I've learned how to offload it after sessions so that it doesn't weigh me down on a consistent basis every day.
Amazingly enough, we have been talking for a while now, and I have not even hit my very first question. But there's something that you said just now that led me to it, or is going to segue into it. You said that you're solutions driven, and even while the persons are talking to you, you're trying to think of ways to help them already. That there is a sign of some excellent leadership. And so I wanted to find out from you, if you were to define leadership in about maybe 3 to 4 points, what would you tell me?
Oh, that's a big one. And so I believe that leadership is having a genuine willingness to help others achieve their goals and their dreams.
Okay.
And I specifically use the words there because as a leader, our objective is to take people to the places that they want to go, not necessarily where we want to carry them. And so a good leader is someone who is humble, someone who connects well with people,
Yes.
so they relate very well to people, someone who is understanding and empathetic, but someone who also values accountability.
Okay.
Someone who is understanding, who communicates well. I mean, leadership is just so deep and so broad,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But a leader is someone who looks at the big picture and figures out how to get there step by step and how to inspire their team to move along with them as well.
I have found that in being a leader in just the small stations that I've been a leader in, that it also helps when you remember that you were too once a follower.
Yes.
It helps.
Yes.
Because when you forget that, then you become a power driven leader. You become self-absorbed. But when you remember that, you remember the humility of servanthood, then I believe that it works better.
Absolutely.
You understand?
I agree with you. And that's why I think a lot of people are now aspiring to servant leadership because it's about serving other people. That's the right form of leadership. All other leadership is vanity based. So that servant leadership is about helping others, giving of others. And I mean, if people really understood that in helping people to get what they want, help leading them and serving them, they naturally carry you. Yes. And so it's a win-win situation when we serve others because they turn around and they serve us as well.
I think that the power-based leader or the vanity-based leader has some issues that they probably need to work through.
Absolutely.
I won't say that I was never a vanity-based leader. I remember taking on leadership positions where I felt like I had to prove something because I had waited so long for the affirmation that when it came, I didn't become power hungry, but I just wanted to prove so much that I could lead. And what were you guys waiting on? I could have done this a long time ago. What? You understand? But then at a certain point, I had to realize, okay, it doesn't matter what people think of you in the position. You've got to own the position in the right way.
Yes.
You know, you've got to be relatable. You have got to show people that you understand where they're coming from. You understand? Last night I attended a meeting where the facilitator, they brought a ladder in. And they said that, yes, all leaders have to climb the rungs of the ladder. But once you get to the top, you can't forget that there are other persons down there holding the ladder for you.
That's right.
And they're able to see what you can't. Yes. They're able to ascertain what you are not able to. And so you've got to trust those people. You understand? And so I found that becoming more and more a part of my leadership decision. Trying to be more humble, trying to understand persons. Didn't work in every situation because, you know, sometimes leaders have to put the hammer down.
Yes,
you know, but then at the end of the day, you feel better about your leadership style because people are still able to flock to you. They're still able to relate to you and respect you as a leader. Those qualities, do they describe you?
Yes, most of them do.
They do?
Now, I will tell you, I struggled with that for a while as well because it takes time to develop into an effective servant leader. It takes time. It takes killing the ego. Having those conversations when people come up against you, those conversations in your head to remind yourself that you don't have to prove anything to anyone.
Yes.
Just do your job consistently, do it well, be respectful to them. And as they see you performing in the job, they will automatically begin to respect you if you handle them correctly. And so those were lessons that I kept repeating in my head and telling myself as I groomed into a better leader. Okay. So, you know, I had natural leadership tendencies, but they had to be cultivated as well.
Yes. I guess this is a good point here to tell the person who's watching, who may have just assumed a leadership position, that it works better with honey than it does with vinegar.
Yes.
Okay? It's much, much better with honey. If you assume the role of servant, then people will automatically follow you as well. Because they trust you and they think that you have their best interest at heart. They understand that you know where they are coming from. And so you're not going to ask them to do anything that you yourself perhaps have not done. And so I want to ask you this question. I'm a little reticent to do it. What's your greatest strength? But also your greatest weakness.
People, connecting with people.
Really?
It is one of my strong points. I am able, it's a gift. I believe that is really a gift that I can sense and feel what people are experiencing. I can be in a room and I can identify in that room people who are struggling and who are hurting.
Wow.
And so I'm able to connect well and reach out to them as well. But that's also, you know, it has to be controlled.
Yes.
Because in identifying them and wanting to work with them and help them, I can go overboard and deplete myself in doing so.
Wow.
So I've had to learn how to put some boundaries in place to protect my own sanity as well. So it's a delicate balance.
Yes, it is, because then you have persons around you who feel you.
Yes.
They love the fact that you're paying attention to them, and so they want everything.
Yes, they do.
And so how do you find a way to draw that line?
And so as I begin mentoring some of the women, the boundaries are explained quite up front. You know, we have sessions, we discuss, and I understand some of the challenges that you're having in that session, and there are takeaway assignments that will need to be done. Between that segment and when we meet again, if you're in a crisis, you can reach out. Understand I may not immediately be able to respond, but as soon as I can, I will. And that way I manage the expectation that I will immediately jump in to help situations every single day. And so helping them to cope on their own has been one of the agreements of the mentoring relationship.
Wow. This conversation is going to go on for a very long time. You are watching Ayanna here, and we are discussing saying yes to me. Stay tuned.